Good afternoon, Mum. This is addressed to my mother, Wendy Lorraine Wilkinson, former Australian Army Signals, former NASA tracking station, former Alcoa employee, former distributor of pharmaceutical information, and former mother of this little lost English boy, this little baby boy here. And the way that this has all happened is you've done this on the bloody phone, haven't you, Mum? And all of the mums in turn. You're just there to take the brunt, I guess, because of all the espionage, because of all the treason, because of all the all the financed sabotage. So there's a couple of questions. Have you constantly made reference to the fact that the reason you divorced my father was because he said he was going to unplug the telephone? Now, we'll have you know that this transmission is coming to you via the telephone lines, via the copper in the modem, in the electronic wire here, going to the Wi-Fi router, to the telephone line, through the Ethernet cable, through the copper lines, maybe fiber optic, all the way out to Gin, into your router, into your television, and you are able to watch it now freely, with approximately an hour's distance between us by car, maybe 2 hours on horseback. There is not a shadow of a doubt in my mind that in the circumstance that I had not been placed into a copper prison of surveillance, monitoring, coercion, hypnosis, exposed to every horrific fucking thing that has ever existed, and now observing the hellish reality of a global distributed sex trafficking peep show that is all taking place on the telecom infrastructure, not the roads, not the water supply, not the what else would there be? Not our legal system, not our judicial system, not our system of defense, but on a third-party electronic interface network that has merely just expanded the amount of destruction that you can enact onto the world. You used your telephone to phone two West Australian police, or to phone the West Australian police, to have me removed from a property that was not connected to a phone line, so that you could have me removed from the property that I was only at to do with your direct health care for 12 years. And to do with your war that took place on this network and the television network, to try and convince everybody that there was a imaginary spiky ball coming to fucking kill everyone, most prominently our grandmothers, which you are, and that most prominently we should then submit to absolute digital rules so that we have basically a telephone attached to us at all times, a bit like the mobile phone. Remember when Reagan went to get on the aeroplane and he had the car keys, and we had to phone him, and it was like lucky he had a mobile, otherwise we wouldn't have been able to get the car keys. Yeah. Well, all I wanted to do, Mum, was ride a fucking horse on my property, on my father's property, which would have been mine now. That's what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do when your SAS fucking boyfriend scolded me and yelled at me. And this has all only taken place because apparently divorce is completely legitimate as long as there's a phone involved. You know what I mean? And look at the example. Look what my children's mother upgraded that to. Like, I was put in literal prison for sharing your photograph on this same interface and to question the validity of the whole thing. And I'm speaking to you from that moment, from the moment that a diagnosed and medicated bipolar woman who had just married a man 16 years her senior and had children, was able to completely remove both the children and the property from the man using a phone. Because she wasn't allowed to turn the phone, because he wasn't allowed to unplug the phone. But the government just unplugged everyone's phone. The Australian government just said, no, children are not allowed to use their phone, but they're still using it. They are literally going around the world with celebrities saying, our government told social media to turn the phones off. And it's like, the damage has already been done. You've been caught, and now you're trying to turn the phone off so that you're not exposed for the crimes that you committed with the phones, for the complete hellish fucking landscape that surrounds us everywhere because of the phones. The first, I think it's 1950. 50, maybe, no, it's probably later than that. 1950s, maybe 5? Let me have a look. Bear with me for a second. When did Queen Elizabeth first make a telephone call that was broadcast on television? Queen Elizabeth II made her first official subscriber trunk dialing STD. Remember that, Mum? Remember the STD? Telephone call on December the 5th, 1958. That's Ethan's birthday. The event took place at the Bristol Telephone Exchange. This was a significant technological milestone because it was the first time a call could be made in the UK without the assistance of a manual operator. That's what you used to do, Mum. You used to be a manual operator. The Queen called the Lord Provost in Edinburgh, which is in Scotland, which is over 300 miles away. The call, she dialed 031 for Edinburgh and spoke to the Lord Provost, Sir Ian Johnson Gilbert. Duration, the call lasted approximately 2 minutes. Significance, it launched the STD system for general public, allowing people to dial long-distance numbers directly for the first time. The moment was filmed and reported widely on television news, showcasing the modern monarch embracing the cutting edge of 1950s communication. Wow. Sorry if I look like I was in a dazed state. That's what happens when I'm looking and reading like a teleprompter. So that was 1958. 1958. First telephone call. First STD telephone call. By the Queen, who is the Duke of York, or the former Duke of York's mummy as well. There's no doubt in my mind that every single phone call to Jeffrey Epstein, every email, certainly, because an email is just an extension of the phone, and all of this stuff hangs on that STD line that that his mother opened up on that STD line. And I wonder how many STDs just quietly he gave to all those women around the world. But aren't we missing something here? Isn't there something just completely obvious that everyone is completely missing? Like the fact that every fucking child has a built-in tracking device, recording monitor, interactive display, and the only thing they're not allowed to do now is talk to each other in a place where it's public. Why is that? Well, that's because the entire world has turned into an electronic fucking Amazon warehouse where, not just royalty, the focus is here on the royalty, but it's like, who else is doing these things? In what ways? In this environment, on this phone. And why is that? Why has that fucking, which is it like, it is not comparative with any of our previous existence, because it wasn't possible. It wasn't possible to digitally, whatever that means, provide people around the world with sexual content in a digital currency. Like, or this is a fucking separate thing. This has absolutely nothing to do with the law. Not this, because I'm saying this in real life and I'm having to transpond in here to respond to this. This is not the way we built anything. This is a fucking scam. And it's very clear when you understand the things at play. It's like, okay, so a husband is not allowed to disconnect this amazingly new STD line to his mentally ill, wife. Why? Because you were sold the concept that was the future. But here we are in the future, and it's fucking terrible. It's fucking terrible. Every single bit of it. You are not my mother. You're a womb of the fucking socialist fucking Western bullshit brigade. And you are the largest threat to my life that I've ever had. You have actively led to my children being basically dragged through hell by their alcoholic mother for the last 5 years. And you sit there dull and drugged out of your fucking mind and have not made one relevant admission, not one relevant critique, nothing. There is nothing there, which is, of course. Now, 40 years ago, or 36 years ago, you were riding a wave, laid out by the suffragette movement, which is a group of elitist British Empire women, the likes of which we're about to see be absolutely bombarded by their own, exposure of their fucking crimes and their fucking evil. But you rode that wave all the way to this point. But there is nothing to say. There is nothing to say. You and everyone like you and everyone that supported you are solely responsible for the complete downfall of our Western civilization. Civilization is not free. Civilization is not cheap. Civilization is not easy. Civilization is not handed to you on a fucking silver platter. It was hard fought for and hard won by not just, World War I, World War II veterans, but by thousands of years of British history, thousands and thousands of years of patriarchal evolution that was destroyed in a moment, in the blink of an eye, by an entire generation of women that were allowed to seek for the stars or reach for the moon, in your case. Well, I hope that flag on the moon was worth it, Mum. I really, really hope that flag on the moon was worth all of this.